Hey kiddos, Pop Reeb here again. We're gonna hope you enjoyed that first video you just watched. I hope it made you laugh a little bit and you saw some familiar faces. So this lesson in theory is going to be about intervals. And I must tell you, up until this point, most of the things that you've learned have pretty much been understood already and fairly easy for most of you. For the younger ones, it might have been pretty new for you, but for most folks, you understand how to count and the value of notes and rests and time signatures. We're going to start to get into the basis of writing music now, and that's going to be the requirement to understand what intervals are. So many of you that started with me when you were younger, you little elementary kiddos, you wondered, why did Pop Reeb always teach us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? You remember 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, right? Jingle bells. Well, now we are going to learn why. Because these numbers represent notes. You that played flute understood that to be B flat, C, D, E flat, etc. Trumpet, you knew it to be C, D, E, F, etc. But when you first started, you just learned numbers, remember? Well, those numbers correspond to notes. So sorry for my bass clef kids, your string bass and baritone guys. I'm going to use treble clef today. But real simple. If you look at the scale, the C scale, no flats or sharps, you'll notice the numbers represent what you've always grown up learning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The interval is basically the distance between that first note, 1, and the other notes in a major scale. The distance between a C and a D is a second. The distance between a C and an E, or the 1 and 3, is a third. And the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh, and the eighth, or the octave. So that shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. What you're going to learn in this lesson, and you're going to have to actually study it and really learn it. There are several notes and several YouTube attachments. But you're going to be learning the major intervals, which begin with a capital M. The minor intervals, which have a little m. So for example, the simple way to think of it is when you play a C with an E over it, that's a major third. When you flat that E and make it an E flat, that now becomes a minor third. And then you have perfect notes, Ps. The perfect notes are basically unison notes. So note 1 and 1 next to another are perfect unison. 4 and 5, perfect fourth and perfect fifth. And then an octave, which is an eighth. Okay, everything else is either a big M or a little m. And then you're going to learn diminished and augmented. I wouldn't worry about that right now. Later in the text, and then as we grow over the next few weeks, that will become more obvious how that works. But again, I want you to look carefully at the notes, and you might have to actually make some 3x5 card notes or notes on your phone to remember these intervals, because they're going to become critical in the assignment you're going to have at the end of this lesson, where you're going to have to identify major thirds, minor thirds, perfect fourths, perfect fifths, etc., both in treble clef and bass clef. Remember the last couple of assignments you've had, you had to learn all the notes, all the chromatic notes, both bass clef and treble clef. So if you're a flute player, you got to learn what the basses play. If you're a bass player, got to learn what the trumpets play. So, etc. So at the end of this assignment, you're going to have a link that's going to take you to an interval quiz. And there's no cheating on the quiz. You're not to call your friends. I don't want you to look it up, although I can't eyeball that, obviously. I want you to do your very best. I'm going to grade you based on whether or not you understand the difference between majors and minors, the perfect notes, and the couple of diminished and augmenteds. But the bigger part of this, too, is to make sure you understand fully the treble clef and bass clef notations. All right? And as always, if you have any questions, you know my phone number, you know my email. God bless and enjoy the lesson.